think we've all kind of taken them for granted. I think we've had a lot of people over the past kind of almost looking forward to the end of high school and to move on to college. I think maybe even the kids took some of this stuff for granted in terms of what it really means to them, because they never really had to think about it. So as you all know, there's so much that now has been simply taken away from them, from the prom to all the different senior events, all the way through graduation. And I think because it's been taken away, a lot of things you don't really appreciate until you don't have them. I think there's been a lot more reflection by the kids and the parents as to just how important these last few months are for the kids. Another big thing I think we've all learned and had to look at of recent is, while there's massive financial calamity of what we're going through, is we are also potentially ignoring other issues, not ignoring, but we are seeing other issues that are coming out that we need to address, and that is the mental health of our kids. And I do believe that this situation is taking a massive toll on our kids, not only from an isolation perspective, but also a lot more self-reflection and outward reflection in terms of things that they're missing, that they honestly did not realize were that important to them. So I have one big issue that I would definitely have floated around to the board, and it is surrounding the fact that we basically were told from the state, and then followed up with some interesting commentary from the state police, that we have to basically look at a virtual graduation. And I look at this from a perspective of, I think it's actually not potentially a disgrace that we are not being given some form of optionality or flexibility to host a live event, even if that live event is either June 30th or into July. And what I would like to have, and I don't, and my big issue was, this was basically said, it's gone, goodbye, do it virtually and move on. And I don't believe, myself as a father of an old graduate and someone from next year, I don't think it's appropriate that we were not given some form of flexibility, some form of optionality to take a look at the world and see what it's like in 6 weeks on June 23rd, and see whether or not we can host an event June 30th under the guidelines of basically how everybody goes to a grocery store or a Walmart every day. Social distancing, but it can be done. It can be done in a smart way. And I think it's terrible that these kids had something taken away from them, and little input as my expectations from the kids. But more importantly, the fact that we do not have optionality, flexibility to make a decision come June 23rd as to how we would move forward, potentially with a graduation. I do believe that this can be a dual system, whereby we have something from a virtual standpoint in order to protect ourselves in having a graduation, but I would love to have the optionality and flexibility to host an event at a minimum on July 30th. And I would like to have